Hello everybody, Coach Larry here, coming at you live from the pool. Hope everybody had a great weekend this weekend. I know a lot of people had swim meets this weekend, so congratulations. I know there were a lot of state meets, high school state meets. A lot of people swimming really fast this time of year. I also know there were a couple people who were up at the Hickory meet and some at the Winston-Salem Tide meet. So, and congratulations. I know going back to the high school swimmers, a lot of really exciting swims, relays, championships, some really good personal best times. So congratulations, awesome stuff. So tonight we're going to be talking about keys to backstroke. This is that unique stroke. It's the only stroke that is actually swum on the back. And by the way, for those of you grammar people out there, and especially those of you in the next generation, you got to know how to conjugate the verb to swim. It is swim, swam, swum. That's how you do it. Okay, you ready? The present tense is to swim, past tense, swam, and then if you use conditional, should have swum. If you say should have swam, you're incorrect. So if you're a swimmer, you got to get it right, because you got to have great grammar to be a great swimmer. All right, deal. All right, congratulations to those swimmers out there. Quick shout out to those swimmers who did some great one-to-one sessions this week and this weekend. So just a quick shout out to everybody from this weekend. We had Kylie and George. We had Bryn and Kaylee and McKenna and Olivia. And then we had 4 new people come on board this week and do their first one-to-one sessions. Jack and Kellen and Tucker and Beckett. So nice job, everybody. Really good stuff. Oh, by the way, how are you doing on your goals? Remember, goals are not just for January 1st. It's not just about New Year's resolutions where you write something down, put it aside, and think, well, I got my goals now. No. It's a daily deal, guys. You got to live it out. You got to absorb it. You got to write it down. You got to read them. You got to talk about them with your coach. So make sure you are living your goals on a daily basis so they become something tangible, something real to you, not just something that would be nice to do, something that you expect to do, something that you're going to do, okay? And if you run into those hurdles, jump them, okay? If you're serious about goals, you will run into hurdles. So be prepared, get ready to jump them, just keep going. Don't feel sorry for yourself, no pity parties. Hey, parties are great, but pity parties, not great. So no pity parties. Okay, let's talk about backstroke. You guys ready? So this is the one stroke, the unique stroke that is swum on your back, okay? All the other strokes are swum on your stomach, on your front. Backstroke is actually swum on your back. So it involves some pretty interesting things, some pretty interesting foundational items that we're going to talk about tonight. And hopefully, whether you're a swimmer or you're a coach or you know someone who is, or maybe you're just starting out swimming, hopefully these will be some things that will help you out in your backstroke. Keys to backstroke. Ready? Okay, here we go. First thing, we're going to talk about the common pitfalls. What are those things that normally happen that we see as coaches or as swimmers, things that people normally mess up on their backstroke? These are the things that we have to overcome if we're going to be great in backstroke. Even if you're just going to be good in backstroke. Maybe backstroke is your weakest stroke. I know I've worked with some people recently who say, yep, when I get to backstroke, everybody, like in the IM, when I get to backstroke, everybody catches me. They eat me alive. I'm tired of getting caught in the backstroke. Well, even if you're not a great backstroke, you can become a very good backstroker if you have some really good foundational items and avoid these pitfalls. All right, number one pitfall is fishtailing. Okay, you might have seen some swimmers before where you look at their legs and their legs are like a swerving car that is out of control. Okay, their hips are twisting. It's not a pretty sight. Fishtailing, very, very common. So we're going to talk about that. Overreaching. Overreaching is a huge issue. Very common. Overreaching involves this: reaching the arm back over your head. Okay, like if I were a clock, and this is 12 o'clock right here. This is 11 o'clock. Here's 1 o'clock. What we want to do is we want to be reaching to 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. But if you reach up to midnight, up there, don't be a midnight backstroker. That's overreaching. You will lose your body line. You'll start swerving, out of control, crashing. Not good. Sinking hips or sinking legs, that's another pretty common problem. Have you ever watched somebody swim backstroke and you look at them and they're racing and you're wondering, do they even have leg? What, did their legs disappear? What happened? Where are their feet? I don't see anything. It looks like they're doing a pulling set. And you're wondering what happened. So a lot of times we have sinking hips or sinking legs. There's some reasons for that. We're going to talk about those. How about timing issues? And what I mean by timing, I don't mean timing on the stopwatch. I mean the timing of your rotation with your pull. Okay, because we got to get it right. Because in backstroke, we're going to rotate and pull, right? Let's just say, like in baseball, okay? Talk about timing. You're going to have to swing and turn the body, right? Both of those things have to happen. If the timing's really good, you're going to get a really nice hit, assuming you hit the ball. If your timing is off, you're going to have a pretty weak hit. You might not even make it back to the pitcher. So if you swing and then rotate, you're not going to get a very good hit. Or if you rotate and then swing, that's no good, okay? So you got to swing and rotate, swing and turn together in baseball, in golf, in tennis, okay? In most sports, you've got to coordinate the core rotation and the arms and the limbs. So we're going to talk about that. Lack of leverage, okay? We talked about leverage a couple of weeks ago. For example, if you try to get out of the pool and you put your hands on the wall and your arms are straight and you try to get out of the water like this, you're not going to get out. You have very little leverage. What do you have to do? You have to bring it in a little bit, bend the elbows a little bit, raise them up, and then you get leverage. Well, we need good leverage in backstroke, because if you don't get leverage, you're not going to be going very fast. And finally, head position. This is another one that can get kind of crazy. A lot of times you'll see people's heads kind of doing this, the back and forth, like their head kind of rotates, they're kind of listening to a song. No, we don't want to have a head that rocks back and forth. We want to lock it in. We want to rotate in backstroke, okay? We want to rotate, but we don't want the head to rotate with it. We also don't want to sink the head back underwater. We also don't want to put the chin way down by the chest. So you got to have good head position, or backstroke's not going to work out real well for you, okay? So those are the common pitfalls. All of those pitfalls are going to be addressed on the next page, which we're going to talk about the keys to backstroke. These are the key elements that will help you either become a great backstroker if you're already good, or a good backstroker if you're not so good. Ready? But it takes some work, and it takes some review, so make sure you ask your coach how you're doing. All right. So these are our keys to backstroke. Number one, we got to have a really solid foundation. Okay? And there are three things, 1, 2, 3. Three things that really help you have a solid foundation in backstroke. Number one, you need to shape yourself kind of like a canoe, okay? You don't want to be a flat raft. You want to be kind of a little bit rounded like a canoe, okay? So the shoulders are a little bit rounded, okay? The head doesn't go back like this. It also is a little bit kind of tucked in a little bit, rounded, so that we are shaped. Think about how a canoe goes through the water. Slices through really nicely because it has a little bit of roundedness to it. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to round the shoulders, keep the head nice and still, and chin slightly tucked. Okay? Speaking of that, head position. Okay, so we got the canoe shape, we got the head position. Now, here to help me with this is good old Coach Bob. All right, so Bob, the ultimate head coach, head position mannequin challenge winner of the year. Bob is very serious about head position. So, your head position in backstroke, it needs to be in a very good and stable position. This, leaning the head back and lifting the chin up too far, no good, because that's going to kind of release your core. Your core is not going to stay solid and stable if you lean your head back too far, okay? Also, if you tilt your head too far forward, what will happen? the hips are going to drop, okay? So what we want to do is we want to have just a slight tilt in the head position, okay? Not chin up, not chin too tucked, just a slight tuck. Here's a good way to remember it. A good friend of mine, Coach Russ, always talks about the apple, okay? So what you want to do is you want to pretend like you're holding an apple underneath your chin, just very lightly, okay? If you lift your chin too much, the apple floats away. If you crush the apple down, you get applesauce. So you don't want it to float away, and you don't want applesauce, you want an apple. So just think of a normal size apple, just a slight chin tilt. There we go, okay? You can also use your fist. If you don't have an apple during practice, you can use your fist, okay? That's a good head position right there, just a slight chin tilt. You can do the apple check, okay? All right. And then finally, I think probably the most important thing is the kick. The kick is absolutely critical to a great foundation in backstroke. Why? Well, it provides three things. Propulsion, it helps you go fast. Body position, it helps you stay horizontal instead of tilted. And body line, so you don't get real wiggly and swervy and fishtailing, okay? I would say kick, a very narrow, aggressive, straight leg kick, kicking from the hips, not the knees, from the hips, nice straight legs, okay? Just barely bend your knees, okay? That kind of really, really aggressive, narrow kick is going to give you awesome propulsion, great body position, and nice straight body line. Very important. So the foundation, just like when you're building a house. When you're building a house, the foundation is the most important item in the house. It's not the prettiest item. You don't invite your friends over and say, would you like to see my foundation? No, you say, would you like to see my theater, my bonus room? These pretty things that look great, but without a great foundation, doesn't matter how great your theater is, it's going to crumble. You got to have a solid foundation, okay? So foundation, number one. Number two, rotation. Now, like we talked about earlier, remember the baseball player. You got to rotate, okay? You got to rotate and swing the bat in order to get power. In backstroke, we need to rotate and pull the arms, okay? Rotate, pull the arms. Rotate, pull the arms. Now, you got to understand that backstroke is a rotation stroke, not a reaching stroke, okay? So, it is not, we are not going to reach, okay? We are not going to reach in backstroke, because if we do, we lose our body line. So if you end up reaching and then rotating, you're going to lose your body line. No good. What we've got to do is we've got to rotate the arms into the water, okay? So listen, the only reason your arm should go into the water is because you rotate it there, not because you reach it there and then rotate, because then your timing gets off and your body line, you start swerving and you start arching your back and the party's over, okay? You start sinking. We don't want that. So remember, backstroke is a rotation stroke, not a reaching stroke. So rotate the arm into the water. Rotate the arm into the water. Be shoulder driven. The shoulder and the ribs, rotate the arm into the water aggressively. And the clock. You want to enter the water. You want your hands to land at 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Okay? Not at midnight. You do not want to be a midnight backstroker. All sorts of problems. Okay? So, here's 11 o'clock. Okay? Right up here. It should be right in line, basically right in line with your shoulder, not way above your head. This is a problem. This is not. So if you rotate your arms into the water, you'll be good. Rotate at 11 o'clock. Rotate at 1 o'clock. Okay? 11 and 1. Now, some of you who overreach and you're used to doing midnight backstroke, you might actually have to think about 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, just so you'll land at 11 and 1. because you got to kind of trick your body sometimes. Okay, so work with your coach on that if that's an issue. Okay, so backstroke is a rotation stroke, not a reaching stroke. All right, so we got that. How about the catch? This is another place where people get into a little bit of trouble. Because what will happen is people will put their hand in the water and they'll kind of slip from the entry area. The hand will just kind of slip down, or the elbow will drop, and they're not holding on to the water. Okay? You want to catch the water nice and tall. Okay? You want to rotate aggressively. Okay? So you get a nice, pretty deep catch. Not way deep, but rotate so you're not right at the surface. All right? And then you want to catch nice and tall. Think of having a really tall friend, okay? And you want to reach up and put your hand on his or her shoulder, up in here, okay? So rotate your hand into the water, catch nice and tall. Also, think about how you put your arm around your buddy's shoulder, okay? Not only do you have a tall friend, but they're kind of your buddy, okay? When you put your arm around your buddy's shoulder, there's a curve to it, okay? You don't put your arm around somebody's shoulder like this. Hey, buddy, how you doing? That's kind of weird and awkward. You kind of curve your arm. Well, the same thing is true with the backstroke catch and that first part of the pull. We want to have a little curve in the arm. Think of it as a buddy catch, okay? Because remember we talked about leverage earlier, lack of leverage. If you try to pull without rotating, you're flat on your back, and you pull with a straight arm, that's not going to work so well, okay? Think about trying to push something down with a straight arm. It doesn't work. What do? We get a little bend in the elbow, okay? We put our shoulder into it, and then we get good leverage. And so we want to have that same thing happening in our backstroke. We don't want to swim flat with straight arms, okay? That's kind of like trying to get out of the pool with straight arms. No leverage, you're not going anywhere. So we want to have a tall catch and a little bit of bend in the arm. Just a little bit of bend, so when you pull, you get leverage, okay? Nice leverage with a tall catch and a buddy catch. Tall buddy. Okay, so that's number 3. So far we've got the foundation with the canoe shape, great kick, and head position. We've got rotation instead of reaching, and we've got a nice tall buddy catch. And the last thing is engagement. Keeping the body engaged, keeping the core engaged, always being actively engaged in the stroke. Here's what I mean by this. Sometimes I see swimmers who kind of gently land in the water, and then they kind of get around to catching, and then they gently land over here. And there's a little bit of drifting. There's a little bit of delay. There might even be a couple of dead spots in the stroke. We don't want that. We want constant engagement, okay? Constantly be doing something to move yourself forward. So as soon as your hand lands in the water, engage the catch. Don't drift, no dead spots. Engage right away. Engage, engage, engage. Tall catch, buddy catch, good leverage with rotation, great kick, head position, nice tight core. Okay? All those good things. Think about this for a second. Have you ever been on a jungle gym? Okay, most of you have probably been on a jungle gym and you've gone across the monkey bars. Okay? How do you successfully go across the monkey bars? Do you grab one bar and kind of hang there for a minute and then grab the next one and fishtail and swing back and forth? No. The way that you get across the monkey bars successfully is you stay actively engaged. Bar after bar after bar after bar. You keep the core engaged. You keep going. There's no dead spots. As soon as you have a dead spot in the monkey bars, what happens? Boom. Down you go. Okay? We don't want that. We want to stay engaged. Okay? The whole time. Bar after bar after bar. In backstroke, think of it as monkey bar kind of engagement. Stroke after stroke after stroke. Think of like pedaling a bike. Pedaling a bike up a slight incline. Okay? You don't pedal one pedal and then wait and then pedal the next. No, you keep pedaling. It's constant motion. non-stop. And that's going to keep you very engaged, always moving forward. It's going to give you great body position so that our legs don't sink and our hips don't sink. Okay? It's going to keep us moving, keep us going forward. All right? So we got the foundation of the canoe shape, a really good kick, head position, and kick. And remember, these things up here really good for keeping your body horizontal, so your hips and your legs don't sink, especially that kick. Turn that kick on, keep it on. We've got rotation. Make sure you're rotating into the water instead of reaching into the water, because that makes your backstroke break down. The catch, remember, your tall buddy up here, okay? Not drifting, not back here, nice and tall, catch the water, and kind of a curve in the arm for the buddy. And then finally, stay engaged. Think of the monkey bars, bar after bar after bar, stroke after stroke after stroke. And that's how we swim backstroke really well, okay? Foundation, rotation, catch, and great engagement. Got it? Okay. The ultimate is, of course, to make sure that you ask your coach for feedback, okay? Really, really important. Coach, how's my kick? How's my head position? Do I have the apple under my chin, or am I making applesauce, or is the apple floating away? Okay? Am I engaged? Do I have any dead spots? How's my kick? Are my knees bending too much, or am I keeping it nice and straight? Ask your coach these questions. Believe me, coaches love questions. So ask them, engage them, ask them to look at you one-on-one, because that's where you can really make some nice changes when you do some of that one-on-one stuff. Got it? Okay, that's it for this week. Those are the keys for your backstroke. And next week we will be back with more good stuff. Next week's topic is actually going to be about something that is kind of related to survival and swimming. And in fact, if you do it well, it is one of the best ways to swim fast. It's a survival skill, but it's also a key to really good speed. All right, guys, have a great night. If you have any questions, let us know at iswim1to1.com. And practice hard this week. Pursue your goals, jump the hurdles, and work on your backstroke. See you later. Bye-bye.